welcome back. Today I'm excited to share a brand new house for two build that I've been working on for a while. For this one, I wanted to do something a little different. I styled every single room the same way you'd style an outfit. Each space has its own look inspired by classic fashion pieces, from timeless neutrals to cozy boho layers, with a few fun vintage surprises along the way. My goal was to create a cohesive home with soft textures, warm tones, and details that feel curated, like building a capsule wardrobe, but for a house. So let's jump in and take a tour of this fashion-inspired modern farmhouse I'm calling the Stylehaus. So when you come up, it's very much a farmhouse type home. So here's the front with the driveway, and you have a big garage with basically like two cars, maybe a little bigger, big two-car garage. And then the front door. Come up here. It's kind of your typical farmhouse looking home. Let's go in the front door. So you come in, and here is to your right a dining room. And then this is the fashion looks that I inspired myself with for the look for this room. You can kind of see how I tried to have a neutral tone-on-tone color palette for the room. Then this goes into the living room. And the living room was inspired by this image over here. So just kind of going for kind of like a little mini work look, I guess you might say. So just all neutrals with a couple little stripes for some texture, and then a dark fireplace, nice little built-in bookshelf. And then for the kitchen, I went for kind of a classic look of like jeans wearing a white button-down t-shirt or a button-up shirt with a couple little accessories, like a brown leather belt for the countertops. Can you kind of see the inspiration here? So the denim on the bottom, the white on the top, and brown in the middle. Does it make sense? And then this one has kind of like a hidden pantry. So you come in here, nice little pantry, kind of taking the same color scheme, the blue on the bottom and the white on top. And then if we go down here, now this section of the home, you get your entryway into the garage. And the garage was inspired by this, with kind of the gray and white stripes on the top, and then kind of a fun teal blue jean for the bottom. So it's kind of, back to my more boring garage. Remember, I always say garages are boring, but this one's a little funky. And then you kind of have a little mudroom here. And the mudroom is inspired by kind of this casual look with kind of layering some mossy green with some kind of burnt orange colors. And you can see the green and the little built-in shoe coat closet I made over here. And then I added a little kind of extra closet space with a little bit of hanging and some shelves. Obviously I think this would be a good linens and extra stuff, extra cleaning supplies storage area. And then there is a laundry room, which was inspired by this kind of cute, fun, girlish look. So you got the plaid on the wall and the pink, but then we're kind of keeping the green hues of the room next door. So I've got all the cabinetry done in the green, with a little bit of marble for the countertops to kind of add a little different color. But a nice little laundry room. That is the door into the master closet, but we'll go around the other way. And then I try to kind of pretend, I think, does everybody kind of pretend this is like a freezer? Like, pretend this is a freezer, so you'd have extra freezer storage in here for off your kitchen. There's a door to the backyard here, so you can see the backyard, nice little access door. And then this is the master. The master's pretty neutral, just kind of browns with a little bit of gray and black, and then there's a pop of lime and a little bit of like kind of subtle pink from this image. Kind of like I thought it was kind of like a schoolgirl outfit, like maybe a college girl. I don't know. People wear that kind of stuff anymore these days. They did when I was in high school and college, but that was back in like the 90s, so it was a while ago. But okay, and then this is the master bath, which is a little crazy, but do you see kind of the inspo here? Kind of this wild boho with the green and the patchwork, so it gave me a chance to use this crazy floor tile, and then I kind of thought it looked kind of nice with the wallpaper, a little weird mix of prints, but I think it works out actually. It looks okay. And then here's a little room for the toilet. You have a little bit of privacy with some blinds over the windows. And then here's this master closet. I'm still working on trying to get my closets to look better. And this is probably like a wild color. It's a wild color. I mean, for the room being so masculine, I thought the closet needed to be a little girlish, right? So you got kind of, some built-in, some drawers, some areas for shoes and other, like, folded up jeans and sweaters, and a couple long hanging sections, a couple short hanging sections. I thought it was a pretty reasonable master closet. And then again, this is the doorway. So you have direct access into the laundry room, which I think is, I kind of like this floor plan idea of having direct access to the laundry room from your master closet. I think that's a good idea. Anyway, so all right, we'll go over to the other side. So when you come into the entry, to your left, there's a little coat closet, just a little coat closet. There's a bathroom. So here we have a little bit of a vintage inspiration, this kind of classic 50s look with the little swing dress. And so you got the red dots on the walls and the white frilly on the bottom, kind of like I thought this kind of mimicked having a petticoat under your skirt for the side here. Does that make sense? And then just a classic checkerboard look for the floor and the shower tub combo, and then the toilet. So just a little vintage inspired bathroom. And then there's a bedroom in here, which is kind of a guest room. So I kind of went for like a classic little black dress with some red hints. And then I added in the zebra just because I thought it kind of looked good for the room. And the room's so dark with the black on the walls. So I thought this kind of melded nicely together and created kind of a stylized look. It's a little retro. And then it has its own closet with, I went for kind of a gray with the checkerboard. It's kind of a narrow closet, but I'm still working on my closets. You'll have to tell me what you think. Am I getting better? Do they look a little more like what you would expect a closet to look like? That's kind of the thing I'm going for, is to try to, make my closets a little more realistic looking, I guess. So all right, so that's that room. And then we'll head on upstairs. There's a couple bedrooms upstairs. And this is the first bedroom, which is very girly, a very girly bedroom. So kind of this very romantic storyboard of clothes with kind of these little delicate flower prints and the pink. And, just a very girly little room. And then here's her little built-in closet. She does get her own window, which is kind of nice. I thought the closet turned out pretty good for a small bedroom's closet. I think this is pretty neat, pretty nifty. Works really well with the space, I think. And then next door, there is a bathroom. Now this is like a wild bathroom. I'm not sure how I feel about this bathroom. This was the outfit I was inspired by, which is kind of, to me, it felt like a little bit of like a 70s vibe on the colors, and I'm not sure how I feel about how I incorporated them. I feel like it looks like a really 70s icky bathroom, but like then I was kind of like, I might as well just go for it and just embrace the color scheme. And I don't know, what do you think? Is it awful? Is it at least on theme for the image, for the outfit? I tried this little nestling, this built-in kind of cabinet in between. I couldn't tell if I liked it or hated it. I don't know. You have to tell me what you think. I still feel like I'm not sure if that looks like a good idea. And this room is inspired by kind of a sports look. So you've got this kind of like a football jersey outfit. So I did the blue and the white stripe with the black accents and the little, your jersey number on the wall. And, for kind of, I figured this would be like an older boy's room who maybe plays football. So this is his bedroom with all the sports stuff and the video games. And then I gave him just a more basic He's kind of got a more basic closet, you know, with just the gold and just some hanging spaces, you know, which I figured he probably isn't going to need a whole lot of space like the girl does, right? But all right, so that's pretty much the house and the inspiration. Not a terribly big house, but I don't know, I just had a lot of fun kind of taking the images and trying to, you know, let them inspire the rooms. But we'll go outside just briefly so you can kind of see. I didn't do too much to the exterior. I didn't really want to spend too much time on the outside of this house. But, you know, I did try to do some, I still feel like my skills in doing plants and stuff is not terribly great. Like, I don't know, am I really terrible at this? Does this look reasonable? I put a little seat out here with some flowers, just figured it'd be kind of a nice spot. It's right outside the master to, you know, you can come out here and maybe have a little sit down and enjoy yourself. And then if you come around this way, there's a full wraparound porch. So you got, you know, you can go all the way around this house, all the way around. There's a nice little porch, and then, you know, you got the front with, you know, the windows in, and then just, you know, and then a little path, and just not a whole lot to this house, but I had a lot of fun kind of using the inspiration of the styles, and yeah, well, that's kind of the house. I hope you liked it. Maybe it inspired you. Let me know what you think. Thanks. Bye.